Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Anna. I am a portrait photographer in the Chicagoland area, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite portrait setup. I am mainly an outdoor photographer. Most of the photos that I take are outside, but due to the lockdown and everything that's been happening in 2020, especially in the winter, it's a bit hard to take those photos in the snow. Now, I don't own a studio myself, so I normally dedicate one room in my house to just set up a couple backdrops and a couple lights. Before I start this video, I do want to mention that I had received both of these lights from GVM. I've used them in the past with my neon color light videos, so if you're interested in those types of videos, I will list them up here as well as in the description box below. For this video and what I normally use for portrait shoots, I use the Westcott X drop. I normally use the gray backdrop, but I also have the white and the black in case I want to interchange them. I normally use the GVM soft light as my main light, which then hits the clamshell reflector or an eye lighter, and then I use the GVM handheld light. This is a lot of equipment, especially for using a small room, so you don't necessarily need to have all of these equipments or lights in order to get the same result, but it is going to be really helpful. I do want to also quickly mention that if you're interested in a review of any of these equipments, let me know in the comments below. So once I had set everything up in this room, I went ahead and started connecting my phone to the camera. The camera that I was using that day is the Sony a7 III, as well as an 85mm lens. And if you use the Sony Connect app, you're able to see through the live view what exactly is going through the viewfinder in the camera, and that makes it easier for you to take self-portraits. Once I got a few photos that I really liked, it was time to open up Lightroom and begin editing.
So this is the photo that we're going to be editing today, and obviously as you can tell in the before portion that the headshot looks pretty good by itself. There's only just a couple things that I really want to focus on in the after in order to get this result. So the first thing that we're going to do is go into the light panel, and you can see that I brought up the exposure as well as the contrast. And you sort of have to remember with portraits and with headshots is that you really want to bring in as much detail as you can into the face, because that's what we're going to really pay attention to. So the next thing that we did in the color panel, you can see when I'm toggling between the before portion and the after portion, that you can see that the green sweater looks a little muted, at least in my opinion, and sort of blends in with the gray. So what I had done is I boosted up the vibrance so that way you can see the difference between my sweater as well as the background. The last thing that we're going to do is go into the selective edits, which is right below the band-aid, and you can see that in the before portion of this photo that my eyes are not as bright as they are in the after, and this was because I really wanted to enhance my eyes, since this is the first thing that most people when looking at a photo are going to be paying attention to. So I really brought them up, and obviously as you can tell, if I tap on this and go into the light, I pretty much almost brought it up to a 1. So I really wanted to focus on the eyes and really make sure that they stand out from everything. The next thing that we're going to do is obviously go over the skin and make sure that it's smoothed out. But what we're really going to focus on here is we're going to draw a circle over myself, and we're going to make sure that it's happening everything outside of the circle. So you essentially want to do is create a vignette. So what the vignette's going to do is going to darken all of the sides, and it's really going to make the viewer focus on the middle of the photo. And if I toggle between the before and the after, you're going to see that everything around me turns dark, and it's really going to brighten up the center of the photo. So that really makes the viewer pay attention to whatever's happening on the inside. And that pretty much is the end of this edit.
A tip that I learned when using a clamshell reflector is that the main source of light needs to be 45 degrees away from the reflector, and the reflector needs to be 45 degrees away from the model. One of the things that I learned from other photographers is that if the model sticks her hand out and her pointer finger is hitting the exact center of the reflector, she's in the perfect spot for the light to get bounced back onto her face. Another giveaway, if the reflector is working properly, is if you look down and it starts to be shining back onto your face. Normally, you can tilt reflectors to be in different positions in order to get the result that you want. So you want to make sure that the reflector is shining and bouncing back onto the model. If you have a client that's wearing glasses and you really want to use your clamshell reflector, you either have the option to make sure that the client's head is tilted in a specific position in order to the light not catch into the lenses of the glasses, or you can go ahead, take the clamshell reflector out, take a picture of the client, and then bring the reflector back in. That way you can go ahead and fix it in Photoshop. The last tip that I have for you is if you have a client who has frizzy hair, it's important to let them know before they come into the shoot, especially if you're using a hair light to smooth all of the hair down. The reason you're going to want to do this is if you're using a hair light, it's really going to hit the back of the head. And if the hair is frizzy, it's going to be going all over the place, especially if the rest of the hair is very smooth and relaxed. So what I normally recommend is to either have the client bring a little bit of hairspray, spray it onto the comb, and then brush the hair down so that way it's going to give a more polished look. I had a situation recently with a client of mine where she had done her hair and it was very nice and curly, but the top of the hair was a little bit frizzy. And when I had went into Photoshop and tried to get out each individual hair, it was bleeding into the background. So it's really important for you to make sure that your client looks very professional and prepared in order to give you less stress in Photoshop. But that's the end of this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post a new video. If you're interested in Lightroom edits and tips and tricks similar to this, I have a playlist created which will be listed up here as well as in the description box below. I also have a travel playlist where you can travel the world with me and see what I do in my free time, which will also be listed in the description box below. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.